Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. What can I say, Ruka? It's been a bad week or two for Isaac gameplay. To drip, Wimmy. Owimuwe, Owimuwe, Owimuwe. Do you guys ever sing that song? Yeah, I'm gonna guess, and this is maybe not my finest move here, but let's give it a try nonetheless. I'm gonna go ahead and guess the answer to that question is yes. You know, the in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. You know what's a weird realization for me, getting older, was that, you know, we put on a bunch of plays in elementary school, middle school, and further. And those plays, I guess I just assumed at the time. We did this play called Cosmic Pinball, where there's a couple of pieces in it that are for the whole school to sing about, but then every class that was participating also got like their own planet. So we were, I forget. It doesn't really matter, but anyway, the point is, I had assumed that this was written by like one of the teachers at my school, which is ridiculous, you know, because now I've I can Google Cosmic Pinball. I wonder if there's like a book of musicals for elementary schools to put on. I mean, you're not putting on Death of a Salesman or something, Les Miserables, you know? It's got to be a little bit more simplistic. You know what's funny is I actually remember we had the choice in 5th grade of between two planets. And I remember one of the songs was like Venus, Goddess of Love. And we went, we don't want that song. It's slow and it sucks. So we took the other one, but I can't remember. Okay, hear me. Give me a second here. Cosmic Pinball Musical. Cosmic Pinball. Cosmic Pinball Pinball Machine. Cosmic Pinball Musical. Cosmic Pinball Musical. Cosmic Pinball. It's a funky, soulful band? No, I'm not enabling anything here. Hold on. Somebody on Twitter. Cosmic Pinball, take me away. I want to fly through outer space, whatever you say. I remember that. But it's not, there's no words on it. I can't find anything on Google related to this, but I'm hoping that I'm bringing back good memories for anybody that may have done Cosmic Pinball as their own middle school musical. I really thought it would be easier to find something on Google about it. You know, it's a great galactical ride, and you'll be our guide. And then they switch it up for adventure. Cosmic Pinball, dude. It did not bang in any way, shape, or form. But those were the days, in some ways. I'm not taking a range down. There's been a good floor, nice little damage upgrades. I'm going to not play the self-sacrifice room anymore, but I'm happy with the sacrifice we made to play it in the first place. You want to hear a very typical Northernlion story? Whoa, there's a lot of stuff going on in this room. I didn't mind singing in elementary school. I do think it's weird how you do so much singing in elementary school. We were actually forced in, it's a tragic story. We were forced to sing the national anthem when I was in kindergarten, and I wasn't good at singing. You know, my brain is not non-musical. It's just the pitch doesn't make sense to me innately. I have to work for it, right? Rhythm is fine. Pitch is impossible. So they forced me to sing in junior and senior kindergarten the national anthem, and then a bunch of kids made fun of me because I couldn't sing the national anthem well. It's like being on Twitter in the modern era. Don't you go anywhere. Hey, Ruka, you can't be up there. The only reason I'm allowing this for the interim period here is because of the fact that I'm also fighting a boss temporarily. No. Hey! I can't see the screen! Go. Well, look at this. Tomo is a good boy. He doesn't try to get above his station. Why do you try to get above your station? But anyway, even despite that, you know, kids are resilient. Clearly, I still, sing in video to this day. So it didn't have too much of a long-lasting impact on me, I suppose. Sure, we'll take I Can See Forever. Yeah, let's do it. But, I got in trouble because I never did the actions to songs. Because I always thought doing the actions to songs, you know, little rabbit foo-foo, I don't want to see you picking up the field mice and bopping them on the head. And then you pick up you have the end motions, you pick up something and smack them on the head. I wouldn't do them. And I frequently got tattled upon. People say, teacher, Ryan's not doing the motions. It's like, you know, do you ever hear the expression going through the motions? It exists, I'm pretty sure, for this exact scenario right here. But anyway, if I have a child and they refuse to go through the motions of the songs, sounds good to me, man. I will never, it's not like my parents got mad. My parents just found it funny because you're at the age where, you know, it's not real disobedience. It's just like, you know, why make them do the actions? To my parents' credit, they did not force me to do the actions. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this. I still think of it, you know, there's some things where when I was a kid, I think that I was very dumb. And I think that's a natural, I thought we had I Can See Forever. There must be a quarter or a trinket in here then, somewhere. Maybe just a penny, I don't know. I don't think they would bark for just a penny, right? This is an Austin stream. I'm just kidding. Anyway. Yo, that's a quarter, for sure. That's not just a dig at Austin. You know, very recently, he got a chain of gift subscriptions and rewarded them by barking on stream. It sounds more ridiculous than it is out of context, or in context, it still sounds bad, I guess. Anyway, I'm just saying, the actions don't add anything to the song, okay? It's just needless busy work. I don't mind doing needless busy work if it seems like, you know, there's some kind of benefit at the end of the day, but I don't even know what the actions are just there to, I don't know. Should have just been doing more crossword puzzles, man. Every time someone in Jeopardy gets a question right that I don't get right, I feel like I've been failed by my former teachers. We have 9 range. Can we? This isn't even, I know it seems absurd. This isn't even I'm excited. This is just like how fast we move now, I guess. Anyway. We had more. I can't remember. There was... Oh, there's Cosmic Pinball, which I will say Cosmic Pinball was focused on increasing scholastic awareness surrounding astronomy-related topics, and it has done me a great service. You know, I think I'll give it a try, because I was always a little bit of a, ooh, it's not so bad, an astronomy-focused child as well. I had a lot of non-fiction Isaac Asimov books I used to read all the time when I was, like, you know, 8, 9, 10 years old. But, I will never forget the Order of the Planets, because there was a refrain in one of the songs. My very eager mother just served us 9 pennies. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. And then there was, I don't know, there's this line about vampires. The other musical was Assignment Earth, which, that's way back in 1993 or something. I was only in, like, 1st grade, I think. We put on a musical about, climate change. I mean, back then, if you weren't alive back in those days, if you weren't a scientist, essentially your knowledge of climate change was like, don't litter! But still, I mean, it was pretty forward-facing when you consider that it was like 26 years ago. I don't mind nostalgia that much. Like, if you have the lyrics to Cosmic Pinball songs, it's alright. You don't need to send them to me. I gotta be honest, this run scares the crap out of me right now. Maybe we should have stuck with the Umhar. What do you think, boys? They got nothing. They said, you kicked me off the desk, you're dead to me. I can't believe it. You know, it's funny, I guess, looking back. You put a lot of faith in adults when you're a child, right? The idea that one of my public school teachers would take time out of their busy schedule to write a musical for the whole school seems a little unlikely. They were just probably trying to get through the freaking day. Mrs. Smith, did you write this? Are you crazy? Yo, I got 4 kids at home that they're all hungry. You think I got time to write a young adult focused musical about the planets with a Gustav Holst? So I don't know, man. This is like, I don't think we're too under the gun, but if we get hit once, we will be under the gun. The saving grace, I mean, we have good stats except for range, and Sack Dagger, as far as unknown devil deals go, is actually a really, really good get for us. But I would love to just be able to get a card like Hierophants. That would be of incredible utility. Don't break him, dude. You gotta break this guy at a distance, like an Alison Krauss song. Okay. Okay, little Monstros is not bad. Not great, but not bad. I got in trouble at an... Whoa, these are like ancient stories. I got in trouble, and again, this is 5th grade, dude, or maybe this is 7th grade at this point, you know? We were at a school assembly, and you know, 7th grade, you're starting to feel pretty cool. At least if you go to the same kind of Scholastic setup I did, where like, you know, 7th and 8th grade were the final years that were in the school, so you were like king of the school at that age, right? So one of the younger classes, during an assembly, they put on a performance of a piece called "Is It Christmas Yet?" And I gotta tell you, it was like December 3rd, you know? So every time they said, "Is it Christmas yet?" me and a couple of my friends shouted out, "No!" You know, as one is wont to do. Well, I'll tell you, my teacher was none too pleased about that. We had to write, me and a couple of my buddies had to write a letter addressed to, you know, 3rd or 4th graders, which is already embarrassing, because you're like, man, these people are 3 years younger than me. I should never be forced to correspond with them. I mean, there's a huge difference between, you know, being in 7th grade and being in 3rd grade, but still, it was like, I accept that it was not the right thing to do during your performance to answer your clearly rhetorical question of "Is it Christmas yet?" with a real answer. I apologize. It was unbecoming of somebody that's an upperclassman at this institution and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, this is what, 15, 20 years later? I'm not sorry. You put on... I don't respect the rhetorical question. All rhetorical questions should have the ability to be answered, okay? Now, what am I basing that on? The fact that I'm still sore about having to write a letter about that in the first place. That doesn't mean I'm wrong. Maybe. It might mean I'm wrong. I'm not totally sure. It's not a good room for us. Assemblies are weird, man. I guess an assembly is kind of like the adult analog. Oh my god. The adult analog to an assembly is like a meeting, right? But oftentimes we didn't even know the assembly was going to happen until it was already going on. There's many different varieties. There's a couple of different assemblies. There's a, hey, we're having an assembly because one of the teachers is retiring and nobody, you know, we didn't tell you about it. We're having an assembly because, you know, hey, somebody here got 8th place in the provincial cooking tournament. I remember some awkward ones, too. Like, we had an assembly in high school every November 11th for Remembrance Day, or as you know it in the United States of America, Monster Energy presents Veterans Day. It is Veterans Day, right? Like, Memorial Day is... Sorry, the United States is just... It's always fun to poke fun at a world power. And also, simultaneously, I was watching Jeopardy today, and the $2,000 question in Canadian history was, who was the first Prime Minister of Canada? And somebody said, William Mackenzie King. So, looks like we both insulted each other over the course of the last 24 hours. But anyway, it's Sir John A. Macdonald, you neophyte. Either way, And, you know, our class president got up. And again, it's the kind of thing that's not... I mean, it was funny at the time, and it's actually grown, like, less funny over time. I suppose, as I have more sympathy. But our class president got up, and she's delivering, like, a really somber... You know, as somber and on point tonally as something could be in high school when you're talking about an event that ended, you know, 60 years ago. Yeah, just keep walking into the enemies, dude. Who cares? Maybe just get hit a couple more times. But, you know, she's really struggling drastically to read the speech that she's created. So she's trying to talk, and you, again, as an adult, this is unacceptable. You know, if I had been in attendance as a 30-year-old, or even as, like, someone over the age of 18, you can't do this. But I was 15 or 16 years old at the time, right? See, the rules are a little bit different for you at that age. She's trying to read this really somber speech that she wrote, but every sixth word she's saying the word wrong, and she has to restart the whole sentence again and again and again. And the assembly at that point had gone on like 20 or 30% longer than it was supposed to. I'm sorry to have to be the person to tell you that that's a funny situation to a 16 or 17-year-old. I know I keep getting like a year older every time I say it, but I remember another time, I don't know, and it's just now that I'm looking back, I'm like, dude, there were a lot of funny situations. Oh, jeez, I thought I was dead. Still might, don't get your hopes up. I shouldn't even be moving, maybe, I just wanna... I wanted to go to the shop, dude! That's what I get. Sorry, Jessica, shouldn't have made fun of you. Okay, I mean, we got 2 losses in a row, that's pretty bad. We kind of did that one to ourselves, let's be honest. Here's your new seed, HCE1RJBE. When I was in... You didn't kill any of the enemies yet, dummy. When I was in my senior year of high school, you know, you do the tours where you go around the different schools and different colleges, I should say. And they give you speeches, and the speeches, you know, I'm here to tell you, if you're getting up in that age, you're a high school yourself, they're gonna give you these speeches. They're not wrong, but they're a little bit overly dramatic. Here's what it means to be a student at Queen's University, you know, integrity. And they spell out some kind of acronym. Honesty. Tenacity. Successfulness. You can spell that out. That's right, T-H-I-S. Anyway, so she's giving a speech, and she's like 3rd-year student at the university. So in our eyes, she's like... you know, where we want to be. Sorry, can you explosivo this? And no, all right, fair enough. She starts giving the speech, and then she does the same thing. She starts, it's in an auditorium with maybe like, I don't know, 300 or 400 people in it. She's giving the speech about, you know, all these anecdotes from her time at the university. She starts to stumble over her words, and then, you know, she gets rattled, which is, it happens to the best of us. And, she starts to cry, but she's still giving her speech through the tears, but the fact that she's upset is only making the situation that started the upsettedness worse for her, you know? Like, she's getting more and more upset. Why am I so bad now? She's not reading as well. She's stumbling over words. She's choking on them, you know, as they come out. So then eventually she just goes, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I'm not making fun of her. Who knows what she might have had going on in her life. Even if she didn't have anything, you know, that's fine. It's just a meaningless speech. But I could feel like it's just awkward. I'm trying to distill what the awkwardness is about it. It definitely was not laughing at the situation because it's mean-spirited. I was just laughing at the situation because, you know, everybody in the audience is like, oh no. And she's up on stage like, oh no. And the worst part is she's not even... It's not even important. It's just like this super minor thing where she's supposed to give us some, you know... rah-rah nonsense about like you're entering the next stage in your life and you're gonna figure out what it means to be a young man or woman in society at this institution, and then, you know, it doesn't matter. It's like a puff piece, right? But then you know, everybody in the audience is like, it doesn't matter, and I'm sure she's probably like, it doesn't matter, you know, I'm not gonna put this on my resume. Gave an orientation address to 300 potentially incoming freshman students. Who cares? That's what's funny about it, I guess, is that it was so meaningless, and yet the situation dissolved so intensely. I'm holding out hope that maybe somebody watching this was there. Grant Hall would have been around like March break 2006. There's a chance, dude. Were you the person in front of me talking about watching the Colbert Report the night before? Why do I remember this conversation from 15 years ago? I don't know, brother. Meat computer works in mysterious ways. Like, for example, why am I so bad at Isaac now, after playing it for 3,000 hours? I would like to think that it's not the fact that we're playing less of it now. It's the fact, you know, that it's just a slump that happens to coincide with the fact that we're playing less. Let's hope that that's the case. Anyway. Again, I hope this doesn't trigger anybody's anxiety over public speaking. With all due respect, if these humorous anecdotes did, that's life, I guess. I don't mean to sound unsympathetic, but, you know, I don't know if you can insulate yourself, or even moreover, I don't know if it's a wise idea to insulate yourself from that kind of stuff, you know? Maybe, maybe not. I always wonder about that. I wonder, and I'm not trying to get into a prickly subject, but I wonder a lot about mental health as a streamer. I always think, like, streamers have an overrepresented awareness of mental health issues, and I think that's good. But every streamer, most streamers at least that I know of, they'll talk openly about anxiety, depression, you know, stuff like that, trauma from their past, what have you. And they take care of their mental health in the sense that, you know, they'll take days off here and there. And be like, sorry, I'm just not feeling it today. And then I think, like, you know, and this is a real question. And I'm being 100% sincere and good-natured when I say this. But, like, I think about, like, a coal miner who has I mean, why wouldn't a coal miner face the same incidence rate of potentially having these issues, but can't take the day off? And that's where I get that I'm opening myself up to potentially being gaslit here. But what I mean is not like, hey, don't take the day off, millennials, to take care of your mental health. What I'm asking, I guess, specifically is the coal miner worse off for not taking a day off? Or is the coal miner better off for still engaging in, you know, something that gives his or her life structure during that day off, and allows them to, you know, start fresh tomorrow without having spent the day, I don't know, recuperating or dwelling, I guess. I guess it depends, like, because, you know, everybody's like this. I don't have what I would describe as, you know, an anxiety or depression issue, but I do have, like, latent anxiety. You know, there are days or weeks or even months where I just feel like a little low-level tension, I guess. Like, generalized anxiety. People are like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I'm a little stressed out. They're like, what about? And I'm like, I don't really know. I gotta get 6 Isaac videos done today so the backlog doesn't start to dwindle. You know, it doesn't even make sense when you phrase it out logically, but I still feel it. But most of the time, and I guess this is like a different strokes for different folks sort of thing, when I just do my day the way it was normally gonna go anyway, I think I feel better about it at the end of the day than the rare time that I'm like, I gotta take the day off to, you know, handle my mental state. I do think about this from time to time, because, you know, I don't think there's anything written in stone. And again, I think it probably varies person to person, but I don't think there's anything written in stone that says, you know, like, if you're going through stuff, the best thing to do is take a day off. Sometimes I think adhering to the routine is good, you know? But I'm making metaphors that might not be valid, because I'm like, I was going to equate it to working out, you know? Sometimes 9 a.m. rolls around, and I don't want to hop out of bed and go to the gym because the bed is warm. But then as soon as I've done one set in the gym, I'm like, I'm glad I'm here. I guess that's where I'm coming at it from, but I don't know. I'm also cognizant of the fact that most of the people responding to this will be responding with their own anecdotal evidence or their own suppositions and will not actually be mental health professionals themselves. But anyway, I'm learning about myself as I get older. You know, this sort of anxiety has been with me for a long time. And I'm learning techniques to deal with it, which is nice. I feel... Again, I don't want to say like I've been suffering under a heavy mental load, because that's not the case. I think everybody's got their own stuff, and it's just a matter of... I mean, some people have it more severely than others, for sure. There's no doubt about that, but, you know, it's a matter of how much you keep private and how much you make public. But, you know, I think this year in particular, I don't know if it's exercise or giving myself a real day off or... having a little bit of a break from recording so very, very many Isaac episodes. But I feel like, and it's been noticeable, I think, in a lot of the content, I'm in a good mood. I'm in a better mood lately. You know, some of the bad mood grumpiness comes from the character that's played on the show. Some of the bad mood grumpiness comes from the fact that, like, when you're stressed out or anxious, anything that anybody does that adds to that is like a slap in the face, even though it's selfish. Anyway, I'm not trying to get down this road. I thought that was a rate of fire increase. It's been a while since we had it. Sorry, we have a secret room back here as well. Thank God for Book of the Dead, dude, because our stats are nothing special right now. It's gonna be a long episode. You could probably tell by the fact that we got into a discussion about mental health. Missed a deal with the devil on this floor, too? I gotta open this door. Sorry, it's a little hot. It's not hot because of the topic of conversation. It's hot because it's 29.8 degrees Celsius on my wall-mounted clock/thermometer. Okay, I am willing to give this a shot. We'll open. Should have thought twice. Anyway, it's the weekend. I'm stoked. I have no idea what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Last week we went to the mall. I mean, how are we supposed to top that? Yeah, last week I found out I might have glaucoma. This week, who knows? Maybe I'll go do a couple of routine blood tests. See what kind of parasites have been living out in the old hematic system. If you give me a moment, I'm gonna go induce a more noise quieted environment. All right, we're good. We got our own it's like a House of Leaves situation here. As the thermostat changes, if it's too cold, my door closes, Kate's door opens, and the heat goes on. If it's too hot, my door opens, Kate's door closes, the air comes on. Not really, if you've ever read Mark Z. Danielewski's House of Leaves, it's not really a fair comparison. It's Leavesian. Dude, please. We have a 2/3 chance of a deal here. We have one guppy item. I beg you. We don't need to become amazing. Just take me to the level of, like, average DPS for this point in the run. We're at average DPS for, like, run start. Well, that is not going to be a guppy item. What am I going to do this weekend? Dude, that's a great question. I'm a homebody. I hate to say it, but, you know, anecdotes are going to be Jeopardy rich for a while because they just added a whole bunch of new episodes to Canadian, I think on American Netflix as well. So there's, and plus the All-Star Tournament. I mean, it's basically like the Stanley Cup playoffs at Jeopardy, but I'm not going to get into that too much. Suffice it to say, if you didn't draft Ken Jennings for your fantasy team and you're not doing well, what'd you expect? Ipecac will sort us out here. That's like, you know, you got the chance to get Wayne Gretzky, and you're like, I don't know, dude. I think Gretzky's probably lost his touch. I'm going to draft Gordie Howe. Or, you know, Ziggy Palffy. You know, I'm not insulting Zygmunt Palffy, one of the greatest Slovakian NHL players of all time. But I'm saying, you know, maybe you pick him 15th or something like that. I'm not saying I don't want him on the team. But if you don't first pick Gretzky, you're kind of asking for trouble, right? I'll accept, by the way, if you took Brad Rutter as your champion instead of Ken Jennings, fair enough. That's basically like a crapshoot. You know, you're probably in like a 51-48 situation there. Go with your gut. But if you took like anybody else, well, I mean, what do you expect? Lobster? Regardless, it basically, when it comes to, especially in the wintertime, in the summer is really nice. They did not get larger. In the summer, it's really nice because, you know, Vancouver, it's a pretty vibrant city, culturally speaking. People oftentimes lambaste Vancouver. They say there's nothing to do. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm spoiled because I grew up in, or maybe I'm not spoiled, the opposite, because I grew up in a city with like 100,000 people. But you know what my hometown was excited about? Was like, you know, the buskers are here. Ooh, a new Old Navy just opened up on Gardner's Road. I'm not even mocking that stuff because, you know, as I get older, I'm kind of increasingly becoming the guy who's like, yo, you want to go check out that new Old Navy? I don't need the money. Get me out of here. But it means when it comes to Vancouver civic events, I always feel like there's something to do. But in the wintertime, I don't want to walk. It's not that cold, but it's wet and unpleasant most of the time. But in the summertime, you just Google, like, what to do in Vancouver this weekend. Well, this is a real problem. And you'll usually find something. In the wintertime, I'm like, man, what movies are coming out this weekend? There's that Chloe Grace Moretz horror movie called Greta. It's got 50-something on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not going to the multiplex for that. So apart from that, you know what I actually look forward to the most? There's a couple of things I look forward to the most on Saturdays. One of them is I get up early, and there's no pressure to work. I have a nice cup of coffee. You know, you ever see... I used to watch, or be forced to watch HGTV, because my parents would watch it all the time, and, you know... This is back at the time where we had one television in our house. Put it in perspective, depending on how old you are, this might seem ridiculous, but my senior year of high school, for Christmas, I got a flat screen television for my room. And, you know, you gotta remember, this is the pre-smartphone era by like 6 or 7 years. So there wasn't just a screen absolutely everywhere. So my parents got me a good gift. It was a flat screen TV for my room. It was 17 inches, which is like, I don't know, twice the size of an iPhone screen. I mounted it on the wall 12 feet away, and I'm pretty sure that TV cost them like $500 or $600. That's what it was like back then. Nowadays, I don't even know. Kate and I bought our TV in 2014. It's like 38 inches or 40 inches, and I'm pretty sure it was under 250 Canadian dollars, which is just absurd. In my eyes, at least. It was wicked on sale, and it's not a well-known brand, but it's done the trick for us. Oh, yeah, just walk into the Red Poops. Who do you think you are, me? But anyway, where was I going with this? I don't know. I've gotten lost in the memories. Cobb. I think you know, give me a world card. I'm good to go. Can't believe how bad we've struck out on Deals with the Devil and Angels so far. I was talking about what I was doing this weekend. That's right. I mean, I grew up in a town, and I grew up in the suburbs, I guess, but you know, what did I typically do on the weekend? I don't know. I play a video game that I was already bored of. So just to be able to, you know, Google and be like, oh, there's a graffiti festival, and it's only like a SkyTrain stop away. You know, we'll go check that out. I think it's No Car Day this weekend. Every cultural festival in Vancouver, and I feel like this is probably the same for the rest of North America, is essentially just like an excuse to go walk around a nice neighborhood and wait too long for expensive food from a food truck. But regardless, I was saying, like, I like waking up early, cup of coffee with no pressure to work, and then just playing like whatever video game has been striking my fancy recently. It's been a night, and sometimes, you know, also even knock out a chore early in the morning. That's how boring I've become, you know. Wake up at 9, have a cup of coffee, tune into Mouth's 12 hours, stream for a little bit, you know, leave some garbage in chat. Haha, you suck, lol. Log back into my main account, twitch.tv/Northernlion. Then I'll go do the dishes, or, you know, start a load of laundry or something like that. You know, try it on for size. If you like pina coladas, getting caught in the rain. Alright, well, that'll do it. I mean, it's taken us a little while to get charged here, but still. Feels nice. Then, after my wife gets up, you know what I do? Not that. I hit her with the brunch recommendations. And here's how that conversation usually goes. I go, you wanna go get brunch? 100% of the time she says yes. If you're in a husband-wife situation, I'm here to tell, and I don't even know, this might apply to any relationship. But I didn't live in a brunch-based city earlier, you know? And I wasn't dealing with that brunch-based tax bracket either. But if you get the opportunity, ask your significant other if they want to go to brunch. It's a 100% guaranteed yes every single time. Who doesn't like brunch? Sometimes I see people in chat and they say they don't like brunch. I'm not talking about a honeydew, you know, reheated bacon, runny scrambled eggs in a warmer tray situation. I'm talking about eggs Benedict, chicken and waffles, you know, a bougie breakfast sandwich or something like that. You know, we're not talking about a slice of ham on an English muffin. I'm talking about a croissant sandwich with some porchetta. And probably some kind of cheese that is just a foreign word for cheddar, but they charge you an extra $6 for it. Who doesn't like it? Look, it's not always economical, but who doesn't like a good brunch? And then I go, do you have any place in mind? And she goes, nah, not really. Do you have any place in mind? And I go, not really, but I do have a place in mind. And then I go, you know, I heard good things about X. Please stop hitting yourself. And then she goes, all right, let's give it a try. And then we give it a try. It's a delicate dance. Did you guys watch Good Mythical Morning? Hold on. Why did I do this? It's not bad. Forget about the freaking, who cares about making sure you get to boss rush? It's irrelevant here. We don't want to fight. I think we don't even want to charge our shots. I think we just want to shoot with with Ipecac. I'll pay 7 cents for a random item. That's pretty much what I deserve, honestly. Good Mythical Morning had like a ranked video.
Rules.
Where they ranked the worst inventions ever seen on Shark Tank. And one of them just made me very sad. It was a husband and wife. And yes, the brunch conversation did bring this up. But it was a husband and wife, and the pitch goes something like this. You never have to worry about whether or not your wife is mad at you anymore with the elephant in the room. And what the elephant in the room is a stuffed elephant inside of a glass box. But it's normally covered by like let's just call them curtains, okay? But then, if somebody has something they want to talk about, something uncomfortable maybe, they uncover the box so you can see that there's, you got it, an elephant in the room. Many reasons I don't like this invention. The first and easiest one to explain is just because it's a pun does not make it a good idea. We talk about this on the NLSS all the time. I'm one of the few people out there who thinks that when it comes to making a restaurant, you should probably make a restaurant because you enjoy serving food or you have a good business plan, as opposed to what ends up happening a lot of the time, which is, hey, I thought of a pun involving a type of pasta noodle. Anyway. The other one is that, dude, so the example that she brought up was very bad. And it was, well, how do what if I'm mad at my husband because he left the toilet seat up for the 500th time? And, you know, I want to make sure I can break the news to him gently and let him know that I'm upset. Hey, lady, how about you go into the den or wherever your husband happens to be at the time, and you go, hey, Derek, you left the toilet seat up again. Put it down next time. And if he doesn't do it, you just increasingly bring it up to him over and over and over until he gets it right. Or here's one for you, because I never understood this to begin with. How about you just don't care if the toilet seat is left up? I mean, there's some things like if he's leaving a bunch of stuff throughout the house, that's bad. He shouldn't be leaving garbage throughout the house. You know, he should do his share of the household chores. But who cares about a dang toilet seat? That's something I've never been put on blast for, because I don't know. It's one of those things that used to be like a big cliche, but you know, it's one of the ones I'll fight back against. The point I was trying to make before I get into that is, you know, how sad is it that, you know, you guys got married to one another in like probably a big ceremony with a church and like all your family's there, and then you feel like you can't talk to your spouse and be like, you left the toilet seat up, idiot. Like, you know, if it really bothers you, which it shouldn't because it's dumb, but if it really bothers you, you really can't say it. I don't know. I got a little bit of a truism, I think, but maybe it actually works. If it doesn't bother you enough to make you bring it up, maybe it's not really that big of a deal to begin with, but, you know, if it does, you just have the decency and respect to bring it up to them instead of doing this weird juvenile nonsense. Anyway, but back to the... there's another one, and I want to get back to the toilet seat thing, because I don't understand it. But there was another one I saw on Kickstarter that was like, and we're going to get into a little bit of PG-13 related territory here. It got, in my opinion, properly lambasted by people on Twitter, because it was a discreet intimacy alert. So, you know, you're down the clown, but you don't know if your wife is. Why would you bring it up in conversation or make a move when instead you could just be a asocial weirdo and hit a button on your nightstand? Then if she hits the button, you know, you guys can get down to business. And if she doesn't, well, no embarrassing rejection. It's one of those ideas that I was like, you really, oh my god, you got like 18 lives now. If you explain this invention, like if you pitched it to a room full of 14-year-olds, I think you would get a positive response. People would be like, what's the harm? It's a good idea, blah, blah, blah. There's not been a single adult I have seen weigh in on this that has been like, this idea makes any sense at all. Is there something wrong with just talking to your spouse? I don't understand. What do you mean the embarrassing sting of rejection? You're married. I'm not saying that it's automatic. I'm saying quite the opposite, is that, you know, if you get rejected, you know, get over it. You know, it's like being a baseball batter, you know? You got 364 more at-bats this year. Don't let it get you down. You're going to find a deal that works out for everybody, probably. It's just, it's a very strange invention, in my opinion. I just don't understand it. But back to the toilet seat thing, like... I understand, by the way, that if you're, and it doesn't even have to be a male-female thing. If you sit to pee, it's annoying to have the toilet seat... I think we're cool where we stand here. To have the toilet seat sometimes be up, because then you gotta touch it and bring it down. So here's what I do before I sit down, because I do, you know, there are some operations in the bathroom that necessitate sitting. I look at the toilet seat, and if the toilet seat's up, I put it down. The number of times, I remember I was in like 8th grade the first time I heard about this, and a lot of the girls were like, every girl has a story about how, like, she wanted to pee, but some idiot dude left the toilet seat up, so she sat down and fell in the water. There's nothing I could do, dude. Well, how about you look at where you're sitting instead of just sitting automatically? I don't know. It's not even like an entitlement thing. It's just for personal safety. You know, it's like not looking both ways before you cross the street. Hey, could you stop blowing through stop signs, cars? I'm trying to cross here. Well, yeah, but sometimes people are going to be looking at their cell phone when they shouldn't be, and you're in control of your own destiny on that one, you know? Don't walk into traffic. That's why you look both ways. Thank God it's rate of fire. We're probably going to lose it soon, but still. Anyway, I've never, and I have not had this conversation with my wife because I haven't had to have this conversation with my wife. I guess she's one of the enlightened few. That's probably a little insulting to other people, but, you know, that's capable of looking at the toilet seat before they sit down. The other, I mean, why is it that and I get that it could get into Gamers Rise Up territory here, but if the default position for the toilet seat is down, that is a lot more work for people to lift it up every time they urinate as well. I get that there's got to be one or the other, but, like, you know, who says that the default position has to be the one that most benefits you, you know? Now, that being said, if Kate came to me and she was like, hey, it really bothers me how you leave the toilet seat up, could you start putting it down? It would probably take me a few, you know, days or weeks or maybe even a couple of years at this point to get it through my noggin and have it be second nature, but yeah, I would do it. You know, that's what marriage is about. It's about compromise. You know, I give her the extra tofu. She gives me the extra bok choy. It's the way it goes. I still, like, if we're talking about it from a high school debate context, all I'm saying is the toilet seat being the linchpin of breaking down male and female relationships has never made sense to me. It's one of the times that I will go to bat for my male colleagues here without even really listening to the context of the situation. It's like, I already feel like it's not even something that's worth worrying about. But then beyond that, who says your position is the right one? Anyway, that invention was very bad. And so is the kicks. I just, like, I don't know, man. You gotta be able to talk to people. Like, if you, I don't like talking on the phone. I've mentioned it many times. Sometimes you still have to do it. That's life. But, you know, if you like, you're like, I'll pay an extra $1 to order something online so I don't have to use the phone. Doesn't bother me at all. But, you know, if there's anybody on the planet you should be able to have a mature conversation with, it's probably the person that, I don't know, you chose to marry. Just my 2 cents on the subject, but, you know, what do I know? That being said, I also think it did not get kickstarted, and it was asking for a relatively small amount of money. So it's not like it was like a society's gone crazy. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is a bad gameplay, but we made it happen. If you enjoyed the episode, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!